COVID-19 isn't the first time Siouxland has faced worries over the spread of a dangerous virus.
Number of times we've been hit with an invisible threat, and tonight we start to look back at them. This evening, the polio epidemic. This was the troubling scene at Sioux City's hospitals and many others across the nation from 1952 into 1953. Hundreds of mostly children and teens confined to iron lungs, hit by the largest polio epidemic in history.
You were in a ward at a hospital, no visitors in the rooms. You had to visit your family through a window.
Iron lungs like this one at the Sioux City Public Museum help victims breathe because the virus attacks the spinal cord, causing paralysis. Back then, each machine cost about as much as the average home.
An epidemic labeling was 20 cases per 100,000. There were 402 cases per 100,000 in Sioux City.
That translates into 923 cases in the year 1952 alone. Smaller outbreaks had happened in 1946 and 48. Some theorized this time massive flooding from the Missouri River, and later the Floyd, left Sioux City sandwiched between unsanitary situations, with the polio virus easily spreading through fecal matter in the water.
Parents feared letting their children go outside, feared letting them go swimming, feared letting their children go to public places.
Pools were drained. Sandy Shoreline Leif Erikson Pool was eventually converted into concrete over fears the virus may be hiding in the wet sand. It was a self-trained Australian nurse, Elizabeth's sister Kenny, who shunned the use of casts and braces in treating polio in favor of physical therapies. Some of Hollywood's biggest stars like Bob Hope came to town for fundraisers and morale-boosting visits. Cowboy stars Gene Autry and Roy Rogers visited too. But there were two real stars in the fight against polio. In the summer of 1952, a team from the University of Pittsburgh, led by Dr. William Hammond, conducted tests of his gamma globulin treatment on nearly 16,000 children around Sioux City.
Yeah, gamma globulin is made from people who have recovered from the virus. We take some of their serum, and then that's infused into you as an IV.
By late summer, gamma globulin had greatly slowed the spread of polio, but there was a big defect.
Because you have gotten somebody else's immunity, that's going to wear off.
Finally, in 1954, Sioux City children took part in a massive national trial of a vaccine created by Pittsburgh Dr. Jonas Salk, basically creating a vaccine that's no different than today's tetanus shot.
Basically, you tell the body, hey, here's a chunk of something you might eventually need. Put this in your library. If you ever run across it, go up to the library, pull out this book. Here's the instruction manual on how to fight it off.
The polio vaccine and others that followed finally stemmed the tide of what was considered the 20th century's most feared disease. Now, tomorrow night here on Siouxland News at 9, we'll look back on the Spanish flu of 1918 and 1919 that killed millions around the world and took a heavy toll here in Siouxland as well.